Well, afternoon YouTube, what's left of it. About another 30 minutes it'll be tomorrow morning. I just wanted to catch you up on what I've been doing. Been working on the engine mount. I got my 4130 chromoly tubing in, and also picked up a special drilling jig. It's over in my toolbox there to allow me to drill holes dead center through tubing and make things a lot easier. But these straps have all been changed, and it's all stainless steel now, heavier. I have inserts to keep from the collapsing the tubing. It's 5/8 by 028, I think, was the tubing that I used, and that's in the end of each one of these tubes, which I painted today. Decided to keep that one since I did such a good job of riveting it in, and I got some proper length bolts in, so this thing is solid as it can be now, and it's nice and level. Also changed the aluminum brackets down at the bottom for stainless steel, like I talked about. And Shadow, you want on YouTube? Huh? Yeah, my big Shadow buddy. So got stainless here. So the engine mount is officially completed. Also changed out this piece back here. I put some washers in here, left just enough slack for these two brackets to rotate. A 5/16 inch bolt, 5/16 inch hole. That's where the band on the rear engine mount will mount, and that will also be tightened up just to where it's got enough slip fit. So I'll push it all the way forward, set the band, because when the engine heats up and expands, why, it's going to lengthen, so it'll push back in that direction. These aluminum flat washers are not only to take up space because I didn't have the right length bolt, but to act as heat sink. And this is solid. It's amazing how much, even though it's the same diameter and the same thickness, this 4130 is infinitely better than the conduit, electrical conduit that I was using. But that was a learning experience to get the general layout. But as you can see, everything is just as solid as it could possibly be. And I've got nuts and bolts and washers and tools and stuff scattered all over the place, but that's part of the fun. Let me show you this neat little tool that I got for drilling out tubing. If you guys want one of these, it's called a drill right. I got it from Aircraft Spruce and Specialty Company. It's about $60, worth every penny. Comes with hardened steel inserts for 1/4 inch and 3/16. Can be changed out, and you just lay your tube in there, tighten it down, and turn it up and drill it, and just go right straight through the tubing, and it'll be dead center. And man, that sure made everything work good. So that I should have invested in long ago. I wouldn't have had to misdrill so many. Of course, it was just pieces of aluminum and conduit, which is, I don't mind scrapping out, but this 4130, I just could not bear the thought of misdrilling it. So I took extra pains with it, and it's worked out. Made a modification here. I don't remember if I showed this in a previous video, but I fixed my lap belt problem. I now have plenty of room on the lap belt thanks to moving from the original holes that I drilled out to the seat attachment holes. It'll be just as solid here as it would here. I mean, this is an aluminum angle. Worst case, heaven forbid scenario that I did have an impact strong enough to really do some damage, that aluminum is going to bend regardless, as well as these aluminum angles up here. But if I hit hard enough into something that is going to tear up this aluminum, I'm probably not going to be worried about how quick I can rebuild it, if at all, if you get my drift. But that's that, and I've marked here where I'm going to cut this down, cut these pieces off, and cut along here so that I've got some flat material to bolt in a downward angle, and I'll be putting a little radius right in here so that I don't create a stress riser at the corner. And that is, I'm pretty much settled on that, is for my boom to mount my steering, upper steering shaft bearing, and the ignition module, and the power and valve control modules. So that's the latest. And next thing to start on, I guess, is going to be the steering. I did drag the engine out and lay it up on the porch, put the spark plug in it, and I've got one of these propane weed burners that hooks up to a disposable propane cylinder. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder if there's enough propane that comes out of that, since it makes a pretty good flame, it's not restricted, that I could light this engine off. So I laid it out on the porch and stuck the snout of that weed burner up through one of the intakes as far as it would go, turned on the propane, waited for a few seconds, hit the ignition button, and not boom, but it just went whoosh, and then there was a mild of a rumbling sound, just real light. So it lit off. So that makes me believe that with that type of high flow valve, that I can actually use disposable propane cylinders for my starting gas. So I'm going to pick me up a fire extinguisher bracket and probably mount it down here, mount a propane cylinder in it with the valve, the control solenoid, and then it'll just pop right through here and right into the bottom of the engine, as that goes to this connection right here. This is the starting fuel connection, and I'm going to try that initially, and if that works out, that's going to cut my cost by at least half to 2/3 on the rest of the high pressure liquid system. Still planning on mounting a 30-pound aluminum tank on outriggers here on the side with a dip tube, a flexible dip tube, so it'll lay in the bottom of the tank, and I'm going to tilt the tank at an angle so that the propane will tend to pool down where the dip tube pickup is, and that should work for that. But like I said, this engine mount is absolutely solid. Everything's tightened down probably way beyond torque spec, but it's tight, it'll hold. So just another installment on the project. Let you know that things are still working things are still moving, and every step gets one day closer to actually getting to ride this thing. So be sure to watch, subscribe, like, dislike, comment, whatever you want to do. But I appreciate you I appreciate you taking the opportunity to at least watch this video or part of it. So till next time, this is Tim Coleman, his jet-powered go-kart project, saying good night.